Candace Owens just dropped another podcast, and it seems like she has had enough of Erika Kirk. She's convinced something isn't right about Erika Kirk. Now, what she found out will completely change how you see this whole situation. You won't believe what she discovered. Look, you've been feeling like something's not right about Erika Kirk, haven't you? That weird feeling in your gut that tells you there's more to this story than what we're being told? Well, you're about to find out that your instincts were spot on. Today, we're going deep into why Candace Owens has finally had enough of what she's calling Erika Kirk's lies. And trust me, after watching this, you'll understand why conspiracy theories about Erika are spreading faster than wildfire across social media. Before we dive into the shocking details, you need to understand how we got here. Erika Kirk wasn't always the face of Turning Point USA. She was just Charlie Kirk's wife, living a quiet life away from the spotlight. But then Charlie died tragically, and almost overnight, Erika went from grieving widow to the most powerful woman in conservative politics. Now here's where it gets interesting. Candace Owens was like family to Charlie. She knew him better than almost anyone else in the movement, and she's been watching what's happened since his death with growing suspicion. She's been asking questions that no one else seems willing to ask. She's been digging into details that don't make sense. And now she's ready to expose what she believes are deliberate lies that Erika Kirk and her supporters have been spreading. And honestly, after looking at all the evidence we're about to show you, I think you'll agree that something very strange is going on here. Let's start with something that should shock you. Back in April, Candace made a statement that most people missed, but it's absolutely huge when you think about it.
I believe that people within that company betrayed Charlie. Okay? That's just what I believe right now, and I want to make sure that I have these facts entirely on my side before I tell you guys more. I will say, if you are a rat on a ship, you should probably flee now.
She actually said she was relieved that Erika Kirk is now leading Turning Point USA. But here's the kicker. Her reason for being relieved is terrifying. She said, and I quote, "People within that company betrayed Charlie." Think about that for a second. Candace isn't just suggesting that Charlie had enemies outside the organization. She's saying people he trusted, people he worked with every single day, people inside his own company, they betrayed him. And she promised to reveal more details once she gets all the facts together. In this clip that went viral, Candace delivered what might be the most damaging statement yet. She said,
"I don't know how the executives over at Turning Point USA sleep at night."
But she didn't stop there. She went on to question how they can call themselves a Christian organization while refusing to seek the truth about what happened to Charlie. And then, and this is the part that gave me chills, she said,
I don't think they're capable of doing that, and I have an idea as to why that is. I think the same people that were pressuring Charlie are pressuring them. In fact, I know that for a fact.
Did you catch that? She doesn't think. She knows for a fact that the same people who were pressuring Charlie are now pressuring the current leadership at Turning Point USA. And here's what really shows you how confident she is in what she's saying. She actually challenged the executives at Turning Point USA to issue a public statement calling her a liar if what she's saying isn't true. She dared them to deny it publicly. And guess what? They haven't said a word. You have to ask yourself, if Candace was lying or making this up, wouldn't they immediately come out and deny it? The fact that they're staying silent tells you everything you need to know. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, maybe she's not talking about Erika specifically. But then this clip surfaced, and it became crystal clear who Candace was really targeting. This clip shows Candace making what can only be described as a direct call-out. Now, I can't repeat exactly what she said, because it's still being analyzed by people trying to decode her message. But what I can tell you is that the statement was so pointed, so specific, that anyone paying attention knew exactly who she was talking about. People have been going through this clip word by word, trying to understand all the layers of what Candace was really saying. And the more they dig, the more convinced they become that she has inside information about what's really going on behind the scenes. I've got to be honest with you. When I first watched this clip, I got goosebumps. The way Candace delivered those words, the look in her eyes. This isn't someone throwing around wild theories. This is someone who knows something, and she's trying to tell us without saying it outright. But if you think what we've covered so far is intense, wait until you hear this next part. This is where Candace really drops the bomb that has everyone talking.
Exactly what is going on. The people fighting for Charlie Kirk's legacy. I gotta say this. You know what? I am starting to think, and let me know if you think this is crazy, but I'm starting to think that the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Let that sink in for a moment. Candace is suggesting that Charlie was removed so that someone he never would have chosen could take his place. She's saying that people around Charlie, people who were supposed to be counseling him and supporting him, actually betrayed him because there are just too many things that I am finding out that are not adding up. And here's what really gets me. She's finding out these things now, after Charlie's death, which means there was stuff happening that even someone as close to Charlie as Candace didn't know about at the time. What were these people hiding from her? What were they hiding from Charlie? The regicide theory isn't just about Charlie's death. It's about what happened after. It's about who ended up in power and whether that was always the plan. What Candace revealed next might be the most heartbreaking part of this entire story, and it shows you just how isolated she's become in her search for truth. She said something that should shame everyone in the conservative movement.
Despite all the friends that Charlie Kirk made, all the schmoozing that he did, presidents, right, department heads, I am the only person that is publicly demanding further investigation into his assassination.
Think about how devastating that is. Charlie Kirk was one of the most connected people in conservative politics. He knew everyone, helped everyone, supported everyone's careers. And now that he's gone, Candace is the only one willing to publicly ask questions about what really happened to him. She went on to question why even Turning Point USA, his own organization, has just accepted that there are obvious holes in the narrative. They're not pushing for answers. They're not demanding investigations. They're just accepting it and moving on. And honestly, that breaks my heart. This woman is fighting alone for her friend's memory, while everyone else seems perfectly content to forget and move forward under new leadership. But Candace isn't completely alone. Other prominent voices are starting to notice the strange silence around this whole situation. Even Tucker Carlson has started raising questions about why Erika isn't asking questions herself. Think about that. One of the most respected journalists in conservative media is wondering why the widow of the victim isn't demanding answers. This shows you that Candace's concerns aren't just emotional reactions from a grieving friend. But if you want to understand just how deep this goes, this next piece of evidence will tell you everything you need to know. Here's something that should outrage everyone. Candace wasn't even invited to Charlie's memorial service. Let me repeat that. The woman who was like a sister to Charlie Kirk, who worked with him for years, who considered him family, wasn't invited to his memorial. When she was asked about it, she said that Erika is obviously in full control. But then she added something that should make your blood run cold. I would hope she's in full control, but I don't know, because I'm hearing some stories about donors that are pushing. She couldn't even finish that sentence. But we can fill in the blanks, can't we? She's hearing about donors who are pushing their own agenda, using Erika as their front person. And here's what's really telling. The media is asking pointed questions about Candace's relationship with Erika. Why would they do that unless there was already tension that everyone could see? The fact that the person closest to Charlie wasn't even welcome at his memorial tells you everything about who's really in control now and what they think about people asking uncomfortable questions. Look, I know this is a lot to take in. When I started researching this story, I thought it might just be grief and conspiracy theories. But the more evidence that comes out, the more clear the pattern becomes. You have Candace talking about internal betrayal at Turning Point USA. You have her questioning how the executives sleep at night. You have her regicide theory about installing a new ruler Charlie never would have approved of. You have her standing completely alone in demanding investigations. You have Tucker Carlson asking why Erika isn't asking questions. And you have Candace being excluded from Charlie's own memorial. Each piece by itself might not mean much, but when you put them all together, they paint a picture that's impossible to ignore. Something happened to Charlie Kirk. People around him knew it was happening, and now those same people are in positions of power, working to make sure no one asks too many questions about it. This isn't just about Charlie Kirk, or Erika Kirk, or even Turning Point USA. This is about what happens when we stop asking questions. This is about what happens when we let powerful people control the narrative, just because it's easier than fighting for the truth. The evidence keeps mounting, and Candace Owens shows no signs of backing down. More clips are surfacing. More questions are being asked. More people are starting to notice the strange patterns and convenient silences. This story is far from over. In fact, I think we're just getting started. There are more investigations happening behind the scenes. There are more sources coming forward with information. And there are more powerful people getting very nervous about what might come out next. Whether you believe the conspiracy theories or not, you can't ignore the questions being raised. You can't ignore the evidence being presented. And you can't ignore the fact that someone who knew Charlie better than almost anyone else is putting everything on the line to get answers about what happened to him. So what do you think about all of this? Are you convinced that there's more to this story than we're being told? Do you believe Candace's claims about internal betrayal and regicide theories? Or do you think this is all just grief-driven conspiracy thinking? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me what you think about these explosive claims from all these different sources. Tell me whether you believe Erika Kirk is hiding something. And tell me whether you think Candace Owens is a hero for asking these questions, or if she's going too far. Whatever you believe, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because this investigation is just getting started. We're going to keep following this story wherever it leads, and we're going to keep asking the questions that other people are afraid to ask. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we dive even deeper into this conspiracy. Until then, keep your eyes open and keep asking questions. The truth has a way of coming out eventually, even when powerful people try to hide it.